This is an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder.
Last summer, you may remember when we spoke to mechanic Dylan Phillips in the UK, who in June set a Guinness World Record for the fastest wheelbarrow after he clocked speeds of 84 kilometers per hour or 52 miles per hour. If you missed it, you can go back to show number 0782 to listen to that, and you can go to my YouTube page to watch it. Well, Dylan reached out to me to let me know that someone beat his record. The new record holder is John Loghry from the U.S., so John joins us via Zoom from Des Moines, Iowa. Hi, John.
Hey, Peter.
Nice to have you on the program. You know, as I said, I got an email from Dylan saying, there's really this nice guy who beat my record. And I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty nice of you to do that.
I would have said the same thing about him. When I talked to him, he was just a really nice guy, just really nice.
Well, first of all, how did you guys get in contact with each other?
Actually, Dylan contacted me. When he heard that I had beat the record, he contacted me and said, congratulations. And after that, you know, we just started talking about the Guinness process and all that. But yeah, he reached out to me.
Let's talk about your process and how you became the new record holder. First of all, in comparison to Dylan's mechanism, he was kneeling down. You were sitting down. How did you come about the design of your particular wheelbarrow, and how is it different from what Dylan did?
Well, actually, my design just came by mistake or accident. I was making a different wheelbarrow project, and I happened to have two barrels, two of the wheelbarrows themselves. So after I finished the other project, I had that lying around, and it's like, well, now what am I going to do with that? Well, of course, then I thought, well, I've got a wheelbarrow you can, drive around and stuff. Why not have one you could sit in and make it even easier? So, that's how I came up with the idea to make one of that sort.
Once you decided to make it, when did you decide to try and break the Guinness speed record for it?
Well, when I first made it, I made it actually with an electric motor, battery operated. Had two 12-volt batteries for 24 volt. I was kind of bumbling along on the road outside of my house. I live on a dead-end street, so everybody knows that crazy neighbor guy, and that's me. So it wasn't going very fast, and I realized that, with that little electric motor that I needed to go faster, so I bought a Predator 212 lawnmower engine and put it on there, and then I could go quite a bit faster. Well, then, of course, the next thought came to mind was, I wonder if there's a record for that. And I looked it up, and sure enough, there was. So I knew I could beat that record, so I entered.
Okay, so first of all, how fast or how slow did the electric version go?
Probably 2-3 miles an hour. I think you could walk right along with it.
Okay. So you decided to put this engine in it. And
yep.
As I said, Dylan had the record of 84 kilometers per hour or 52 miles per hour. How did you beat that, and by how much?
So to start with, when I started it, Dylan had not won the record. There was some other gentleman who was at 47 miles an hour. So that's when I entered. And I knew I could easily beat 47 miles an hour. It was later on, as I found out, then I got word that Dylan beat it. So I was already in the process of it probably about a year ago before him.
You said you could easily beat 48. When you said that, what were you at the time working with as far as speeds were concerned?
Nothing. Actually, right after it's one of those things you can feel the speed. It's like, your hair in the wind and all that. It's just, I don't know. I had the utmost faith that I could. But I immediately found out that I needed to find a place where I could confirm that I could beat them. And at least around here, it was very hard. There was really no place to go. I talked to a few of the racetracks, and they laughed at me. I did find a smaller drag strip just a few miles from us in a little town called Eddyville, Iowa, the Eddyville drag strip down there. And when I spoke with Rand down there, who's the tech, after he stopped laughing, he said, yeah, you can bring it down. So, I mean, here I am with this wheelbarrow, and I don't know if you saw the picture of it, but I'm sitting in this wheelbarrow right beside souped up cars with, Hemi engines and, big old racing slicks on it, side by side with them. The looks I got, I mean, you would have to imagine. And then, of course, I pull up to the Christmas tree lights, the red, yellow, and green lights to go. I look over and the audience is just, between laughing and pointing and giggling and of course, a lot of pictures. But I was so nervous. I was really so nervous because, oh my God, everything could go wrong. But then the light changed down to green and I floored it. And that first one that I did was 46 miles an hour. I knew at that point, but this is just first time. I mean, it's never been above 10 miles an hour or something like that around our local area. But I knew there was a lot more I could do to it to pick up the speed.
Gotcha.
But that was the very first. Yes.
So when you finally did this, I understand there was a bit of a journey in getting Guinness to go on board, but also you had to clock your speed in kilometers. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guinness, and I really don't know why, but Guinness was very adamant that it had to be in kilometers per hour. And of course, here in the U.S., people around here have no idea what that is, much less finding a gun that will do that. And I do know that, as I called all the local police department. I called the county sheriffs. I called the state patrol. I even went to some of the baseball stadiums because I know they clock their balls. Went to a few of the auto clubs around. And honestly, I was stunned to find out nobody had a LiDAR gun that would do kilometers per hour.
John, you could have just come to Canada.
Well, apparently I could have went to Wales to be with my buddy Dylan too. So, no, I don't know if I know he had to do it in kilometers, but I don't know if Wales is kilometers or miles per hour.
Because in Canada, we're in kilometers.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're only a day's drive away.
Exactly. So once you got around to doing this, you beat the record. By the way, one of the things that Dylan mentioned to me is the fact that A, you were a great guy, and B, you were doing a lot of charity work. So tell us about the charity work you've been doing and how it coincides with your breaking the record.
Okay. Well, and thanks for asking that question. I am a veteran of the Vietnam War. Fortunately, I got out of there mostly unharmed, but a lot of my buddies and friends and even people I don't know end up, being hurt pretty bad. I mean, you've seen pictures, people lose their legs and stuff. And so I've always felt, that our veterans deserve the very best, and especially those who got injured doing this for us. So the Wounded Warrior Project is one of my favorite charities, and they do a lot of great work around here, helping out people. They help out the veterans and even their families, in needs that they need. So it's an invaluable service to our community. So what I did was, of course, this was going to be a free event, but I said that if anybody would donate money to Wounded Warriors projects, I would give them a Guinness poker chip for the event that mentions Mitchellville, Iowa, where this race took place and the record and all that. It's just a souvenir piece is all it is. But yeah, so I asked if anybody donate any money, they'll get that for free. And I did. We came up with quite a bit of money out of that for that charity. I also, without even there, I also volunteer at the VA hospital myself personally, at least once or twice a week. I've also recently joined up with the American Red Cross. And all of this since I've retired. Since I've retired, I found out where my priorities really are. And it's with giving back for such a great country, a great life that I've got. And you know, the breaking the Guinness record, you know, was a very exciting moment in my life. I mean, but just as important was the fact that I had friends there to witness this with me, and that we all gave willingly to Wounded Warrior projects to help those gentlemen, well, men and women out.
Well, we should mention the record. Again, as I said, Dylan did 52 miles per hour. You did 52.7. Is that correct?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh.
The record was, let me see, I can look at it. It's 56.959 miles an hour, 91.667 kilometers.
Wow. That is amazing. Now, do you think that you can beat your own record?
I plan on it. Well, you know, I saw a video that Dylan made, and it sounds like he's going to take me on. So, yeah, you know what? I'm pretty sure you haven't seen the last of Dylan or myself.
And you say you're retired. Retired from what,
Yes.
by the way?
I used to work at the local cable company here as a tech support agent, Mediacom. I worked there for about 20 years. And you know, at my age, I think I've worked enough, and I want to enjoy my life. The first thing I noticed right away was I was getting bored. Fortunately, my wife let me make a really nice shop out in the backyard, so I spend a lot of time out there tinkering around with stuff, and yeah, so I made the wheelbarrow.
Was creating the wheelbarrow or anything else you were, as you say, tinkering with, did that have anything to do with your previous job in life, or was it just something that you were a handy person on the side all the time?
Yeah, no, it had nothing to do with the job. That was a tech, you know, working with computers and stuff like that. No, this is mechanical, pretty much all mechanical, and fabrication is just something I enjoy doing, and I enjoy making things or making them better.
Well,
You know what I mean, who can't use a wheelbarrow that goes fast?
As I said to Dylan, if somebody wants you to mow your lawn at a record pace, both of you are the guys.
There you go.
Congratulations on what you've done. Again, you say you're planning on breaking your own record. If not, Dylan will probably try to do it as well. When
I'm
you
counting
do,
on it.
when you do break the record, will you come back on the show and talk to us?
Oh, absolutely, Peter. I appreciate this time you're taking out of your day.
Well, thank you very much for being on the program, John.
All right, great. Thank you.
John Loghry, the Guinness World Record holder for the fastest motorized wheelbarrow. You can go to our website at thestufffile.com to the page for this show, which is show number 0813, and you'll find links to John's YouTube page.
You've just heard an exclusive excerpt from the Stuph File Program with Peter Anthony Holder. To hear any or all of the full hour-long shows, visit thestufffile.com. Stuph is spelled S-T-U-P-H. That's thestufffile.com. A presentation of Flying Fish Communications.